Have you ever wondered what happens when you finally decide to ignore a narcissist? Picture this. You block their contact, stop replying to messages, and suddenly silence takes over. But is it really the end? Get ready, because what comes next might surprise you. Today, we're diving deep into the dark world of narcissistic manipulation. I'm going to reveal the secret tactics they use to try to pull you back under their control. Trust me, what you're about to discover will completely change your perspective on toxic relationships. Have you ever felt confused, guilty, or even crazy after interacting with a narcissist? If so, you're not alone. Thousands of people go through this daily, often without even realizing it, but today, that changes. I'm going to give you the tools to identify, understand, and, most importantly, protect yourself from these insidious manipulations. So, get ready for an eye-opening journey. We're going to expose the top 5 strategies narcissists use when you ignore them. Knowledge is power, and by the end of this video, you'll be armed with information that can literally change your life. Let's start with the first, and perhaps the most common tactic, hoovering. This term refers to the narcissist's attempt to suck you back into the toxic relationship. It's like they turn on an emotional vacuum, trying to pull you back into their orbit of control. Picture this. You've finally managed to break away, you've blocked their contacts, and you're moving on. Suddenly, the narcissist reappears. Maybe they coincidentally show up in places you frequent, or they start bombarding you with loving messages and promises of change. This isn't a coincidence, it's a calculated strategy. When the narcissist realizes they've lost control over you, they panic. They desperately need to reclaim their source of narcissistic supply. It's like an addict chasing their next fix. They might try to rekindle the relationship with declarations of eternal love, extravagant gifts, or promises of a perfect future together. But don't be fooled. This sudden interest isn't about you. It's about them. The narcissist isn't concerned with your well-being or happiness. They're desperate to regain the control they've lost over you. It's crucial to understand that this phase of intense love is temporary and part of the abusive cycle. The second tactic a narcissist might use when ignored is a smear campaign. If hoovering doesn't work, they may resort to spreading lies and rumors about you. The goal? To manipulate how others see you and possibly force you to get back in contact to clear your name. Imagine waking up one day to find your reputation under attack. Friends, family, and even co-workers may start treating you differently. In their anger at being ignored, the narcissist may concoct horrible stories about you, casting you as the villain. This tactic is particularly insidious because it plays on our natural desire to be well regarded by others. The narcissist knows that the thought of having our reputation tarnished can be unbearable for many of us. They hope that by making you feel cornered and desperate to clear your name, you'll re-establish contact. Remember, the truth always comes out eventually. People who truly know you won't believe the narcissist's lies, and those who blindly believe without questioning or seeking your side of the story may not be people you want in your life anyway. The third possible reaction from a narcissist when ignored is simply moving on. This might seem surprising, given how obsessed they appear with control and attention. However, it's important to remember that to a narcissist, people are essentially sources of narcissistic supply. When you stop providing the attention, admiration, or drama the narcissist craves, they may decide that you're no longer a valid source of supply. In this case, they can quickly shift their focus to someone else who is willing to feed their ego. This shift can be shockingly fast and seemingly emotionless. One day, the narcissist is begging for your attention, and the next, they're acting like you never existed. This can be deeply painful for the person being discarded, especially if you've invested time and emotional energy into the relationship. However, it's crucial to understand that this isn't a reflection of your worth as a person. The narcissist isn't moving on because you're unworthy of love or attention. They're moving on because you're no longer willing to play their game, and they need to find someone who will. The fourth possible reaction from a narcissist when ignored is anger and retaliation. Narcissists have an inflated view of themselves and expect to be treated as superior. When someone ignores them, it causes a deep narcissistic wound. The idea that someone might not consider them important enough to deserve attention is unbearable to them. In response to this wound, the narcissist might react with intense anger. This can manifest in several ways. They may try to tear you down or insult you at every opportunity. They might make veiled or explicit threats. In extreme cases, they may even resort to stalking or harassment. It's important to understand that this anger isn't about you. It's about the narcissist's bruised ego. They expected you to beg for their attention, to feel honored by any scraps of attention they gave you. By ignoring them, you've challenged their distorted view of reality, and they don't know how to handle it in a healthy way. If you find yourself in this situation, it's crucial to prioritize your safety. Document any threatening or harassing behavior. Don't hesitate to seek legal help if necessary. Remember, you have the right to distance yourself from toxic relationships without fear of retaliation. The fifth and final reaction we'll discuss is apparent indifference. In this scenario, the narcissist acts as if they don't care that you've ignored them. They continue with their life as if nothing happened, making no attempt to contact or reconcile. However, it's important to understand that this indifference is often a facade. The narcissist is playing a waiting game, believing that you'll eventually break the silence. They may think you need them more than they need you, and it's only a matter of time before you come crawling back. This indifference is designed to make you feel insignificant and desperate for their approval. The narcissist hopes that by acting like you don't matter, you'll become anxious to prove your worth and reach out to them. Don't fall for this trap. Remember, you chose to distance yourself for a reason. The narcissist's apparent indifference doesn't lessen the value of that decision. Stand firm in your boundaries and continue focusing on your own growth and well-being. Now that we've explored these 5 reactions, it's crucial to understand that narcissists are emotional predators. They feed off the attention and validation of others and will do anything to keep it. When you refuse to play their emotional games, you're essentially cutting off their supply. It's essential that you make the decision to disconnect completely. Otherwise, you risk being drawn back in or becoming a target of revenge. Prioritize your mental health and accept that life will be better without them. If cutting off contact completely isn't possible, establish serious boundaries and create distance. Remember, engaging in a narcissist's toxic games is never worth it. Don't chase them or seek their approval, because doing so only gives them more control over you. You deserve healthy, reciprocal relationships where your value is recognized and respected. It's important to note that narcissistic abuse can have deep and lasting effects on the victim. Many people who've been in relationships with narcissists report feelings of inadequacy, guilt, and difficulty trusting themselves. If you relate to this, know that you're not alone, and there is hope. Healing from narcissistic abuse is a process, but it's possible. It begins with recognizing the abuse and deciding to prioritize your own well-being. This may involve seeking therapy, building a healthy support network, and working on reconnecting with your true self. Remember, the narcissist tries to pull you away from your true essence, your real self. Any action that's an authentic expression of your real self will have a healing effect. This might involve rediscovering old hobbies, exploring new interests, or simply spending time in self-reflection. As you move forward in your healing journey, it can be helpful to learn more about narcissism and its manifestations. This can help you identify toxic behavior patterns in the future and establish healthy boundaries in your relationships. It's important to note that not all narcissists are the same. While some are extroverted and openly grandiose, others can be more subtle in their manipulations. The vulnerable narcissist, for example, may present as a constant victim, using guilt and gaslighting to manipulate others. No matter what type of narcissist you're dealing with, the key is to stand firm in your boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. Remember, you're not responsible for the narcissist's feelings or actions. Your only responsibility is to your own health and happiness. In conclusion, ignoring a narcissist can trigger a range of manipulative reactions. Whether through hoovering attempts, smear campaigns, shifting focus, anger and retaliation, or apparent indifference, the narcissist will try to regain control over you. The key to handling these tactics is knowledge and inner strength. Understand that these manipulations aren't about you, they're about the narcissist and their desperate need for control and validation. Stand firm in your decision to distance yourself, prioritize your well-being, and remember that you deserve healthy, reciprocal relationships. Your healing journey may be challenging, but it's incredibly rewarding. Every step you take towards your authenticity and well-being is a victory. You're stronger than you think, and there's a world of possibilities waiting for you beyond narcissistic abuse. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are resources, support, and people who understand what you're going through.